Christ.
Anyone
What
said
debate?
that
I
was
really came here to
so
be
that
productive.
was so
No, he came here to be
disingenuous.
productive to then drop down as soon as I
No, I didn't say he. I said I came here to be productive. When I was invited up, I came here to be productive. I really wanted to know, what is your plan for outreach to marginalized communities? Like, how are you all going to deal with that? Because it's not just white people and it's not just young white men who voted for Donald Trump. You're going to run across all different types of people. There are gay people who voted for Donald Trump. There are transgendered people who voted for Donald Trump. There are disabled people who voted for Donald Trump. So how are you all planning to actually address these communities when you can't even have a simple conversation about an action that you took yourself, that people called out and said was wrong? You can't even take accountability for that. You don't think that anything is wrong there. It's not just about getting votes. It's not just about that, Z, and I've been trying to tell you that.
So, then what is it about? If it's not about
Oh, it's about this is gonna be about the Z thing. Yeah.
getting votes, what is it about?
You're not gonna. Okay, let me
Mercy Chandler TikTok live.
make this clear. You're not going to be able to change people's minds if you're not able to relate to them. That is the main thing that you're able to do is to
Yeah,
relate.
this is relatable.
You think that you're being relatable?
Oh, so what you guys want to do is be antagonistic? Is that what y'all want to do? Y'all want to be hostile? Because literally, I told you that I came here to have a productive conversation.
Apologies.
I hate the build of this video only because I can't, like, they're so small. Like, yeah, I guess.
I literally
Just
came
because you
here and
have a
said
nice
I came
tone
to
doesn't
have a
mean you're not being
productive
hostile.
conversation. Why do your sentences keep meeting mine, Clarkson? Like, are you okay?
Why do you?
Is everything okay at home?
It's literally just the white fragility. Clarkson, you've been projecting this entire time.
You guys, whenever I see a person of color, I just
No. It's not about you seeing a person of color. It's your white fragility. Like, you can't embrace anything that anyone is saying. Literally,
Oh, don't say white fragility. You know they hate that shit.
they're trying to have a
Maybe
conversation
you
with
guys
you,
are
but
just sharing
you're so
terrible
locked
ideas. Have
in
you ever thought
on
about
being
that?
a
That has nothing to do
condescending
with skin
asshole
color.
that you won't even let anyone speak because you have a problem.
No, have you guys ever
Guys,
considered
this,
the fact that it has nothing to do with your skin color?
The Santana guy is a little bit problematic. He keeps bringing people's race up for no reason. It's really weirding me out. Can we not call him
But no one
racist,
knows
please?
who
Thank
you
you.
are. You are absolutely irrelevant in this conversation. No one knows you.
You just got in here.
Fuck off,
I don't know
slap
who the fuck
nuts.
you are.
Yeah, I know you don't. Don't worry about it, Clarkson. Good.
Right, so then how are you
I'm
gonna
just
tell us
figuring
that
out who
ideas
you
matter
are.
when you don't matter just as much?
Yeah. Oh,
Let me see if I can just...
Z, do I not matter?
I never
Z?
said you didn't.
You're
I
on
said
the
based on
first
your
topic
You matter to
before,
me.
but I don't think
Straight
that like
man.
everybody should know you as this like
Yeah, but my
renowned-
point is, do I have more of a point in this conversation than whoever the guy was? That's it.
I mean, I don't know who
No.
that person is.
Yeah, perfect.
But
Thank
you were
you,
on
Clarkson.
you were on one tour stop, so I'm not sure like what.
There's only been one.
Yeah,
Why are we
well,
acting like there's been more? Like, come on, Z. And stop
the next
acting like the
destination?
Darren Going tour stop was the tour. I use quotation marks whenever I said was derailed simply because we decided that we didn't want to be a part whatever it is you had organized. That's not the reason, Z. That's not it. It was because you didn't take accountability, and that's all that people were asking for, Z. That's it. And again, I'm going to say this for probably the 5th time. I came here to have a productive conversation because I've been in the groups, I've been in the circles where people are simply just wanting to know, how are you going to talk to different people? How are you going to talk to people that aren't white?
On my mic.
That's it. How are you going to talk to those people when you all can't even listen to what it is that we have to say? You take everything that we say as an offense to you and you get defensive. You're always on defense, Z. I open your mind and also open your heart so that you can actually have these conversations. That's all that I am asking for.
Wait, when you say we, who is we?
When I say we, when I say that's all we're asking for, or you, we as in black people, as in the people that I've spoken to.
Okay, but weren't there other black people that were involved in this actual event? Why are you speaking?
Yeah, one is here.
Yeah,
Another one
It's
is
funny
here.
because every
Jaden
single
could have been
one
a
is
part
worth
of it.
attention.
Yeah, but I just
And I've spoken to all of the black creators that were a part of the tour.
Who the hell is that one
Have
guy?
You know
Have you,
what's
Destiny?
funny about that comment, Destiny?
Whoever it is, whoever that one guy is, no glaze, but he's got a voice for radio.
I have not
we
spoken to every single
have those conversations, and so if we actually start to speak, then we are in a line with something that the other people are saying. So yes, Erica's had this conversation with multiple Black creators, including the actual Black women on the panel that, where this whole thing started with Z. So
So the
Exactly.
Black panel women were not women that were involved with the event, though.
yeah, again, I said including those Black women that were on the panel with Z that started this whole situation.
That means
I
in
didn't say they
addition
were a
to.
part of the tour. I said including.
Follow along, Buttercup.
No, I got it. Please don't black explain what that means. Thank you. I can
What is
understand.
a black explaining?
Black
Very-
explaining?
Explain.
doing my
What is
best.
that?
I'm doing my best here. When you say that Z needs to take account,
Destiny, what does black splaining mean? Like, what is? I've heard of white splaining. Like, is that like obviously? Is it meant to be the opposite? Like, what is that? What are you saying there? Like, what is black splaining?
accountability. What does that mean?
How was that black explaining?
Yes. What? I'm sorry. Black explain?
Why did you assume that I didn't know what "in addition to" meant?
No, because he said including, and you said that they weren't a part of the tour, and I'm clarifying that including means in addition to. I'm sorry if that. I'm sorry
This
it's
is
simple
just-
English.
This
This is
just
silly.
a statement to derail it. How about we actually
Exactly.
focus on the
Excuse me.
conversation?
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Would it be
do you think I
white
don't know
splaining
what
if Anne made that
"in addition to"
comment?
means? Do you think I don't know what "in addition to" means?
Would it be white explaining if Anne
Then
made the
I'm
same?
not
would
sure if
just
you know
be
what
relevant.
including means.
You don't. So you legitimately don't know if I know what "including" means, really? And this is a productive
Possibly.
conversation.
Exactly. Now we're just
How does that?
derailing.
How does that at all relate to
now
our
we're-
race
we're
by
getting,
saying that
we're getting
correction?
into semantics. How
Exactly,
about we
exactly.
actually have this conversation instead of getting into semantics?
Sure. What is taking accountability supposed to look like in the case for Z before the event explodes?
Taking accountability and addressing the actual concerns that members a part of the tour and observing the tour had with it.
You just said nothing. I'm asking you, what does taking accountability mean? And you said taking accountability.
You said before the tour happened, which is answering questions as to what those concerns were, how those concerns would be alleviated, and what specific steps would be taken to alleviate them.
Okay, my
That is what you're
understanding is, you can tell me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that these concerns were made public by a group of women on a TikTok live before they were ever expressed privately to anybody with the event. Is that true or is that not true?
That's false.
Yeah, hey, Destiny. No. Hey,
So this is
Destiny.
a question.
Destiny, you know what's funny? And I'll give you a bit of a pass, bud, because I watched Z come on your live stream and speak to you live and completely mischaracterize
watch
everything
later.
that happened. She lied, she obfuscated, and she did not tell you everything that happened. So if you have only gotten this information from her and what you've been able to piece together, you don't know what exactly happened. And I'll give you a pass for that because she didn't tell you the full truth while speaking directly to you.
Okay,
What did
so
I lie
tell
about?
me- Wait. So that's so easy. If it's a factual disagreement, then just tell me, what were the claims that were brought up privately or expressed privately before that TikTok live that weren't being addressed?
One being security, another one being the lack of representation when it came to different demographics that were on this tour. Three being the strategic behind it, and if people would be compensated for their work, would be compensated for their travel, amongst other things.
So when you say that these concerns weren't addressed, are you saying that they weren't expressed, that they weren't addressed to your
fucking
satisfaction,
feedback. I
or that
can't
the
do
person
anything
just didn't
about
agree
it.
with you when you brought them up?
These would be that would be a question for those
think I fixed
individuals
it.
that raised those questions. But those, to my knowledge, are the concerns that the people had.
Sure, but you understand that just simply having a concern doesn't mean that your concern is correct. It could be that you bring up a concern and that concern is addressed, and you might just have a disagreement with the organizer about how to address that concern, right?
I understand that, and those answers that Z or whomever provided would be adequate given the person who asked those questions. I didn't ask those questions, though.
Is this Jaden?
Wait, so then if her responses were adequate, then that means that these concerns were addressed, but people just weren't happy with the answer?
Again, that would depend on who raised those concerns. If Erica's specific concerns were not addressed or were not answered
No, it
to,
doesn't say. It
that would
just
be
says with
within
Destiny.
her answered for that. Same would be for Santana or others.
So just one- I'm
I
trying to
cannot
get
speak for
all
them
that.
because I didn't raise that.
Sure. Was Erica part of the event or just part of that TikTok
Yes, I mean you followed the event pretty extensively, have you not?
live? No, there's a lot of new names that I just don't recognize.
Okay, well you should know Erica. She was a part of that tour. So was Santana.
Cool. So Erica, what was a concern that you brought up that you felt like hadn't been addressed privately?
A concern that I had, and I was told that I would get a phone call from Z, is in regards to the live that she went on, where I felt that she needed to apologize to those young women. Because I did tell her in a signal chat when she went on that live, I said, you need to change your tone. You're being very hostile right now.
I'm sorry, hold on.
And
Let me.
you asked the question earlier. I'm not finished. You asked the question earlier. What does accountability look like? Accountability looks like no. We're going back to the accountability.
Respectfully, you didn't interrupt me.
Because I literally.
Don't roll your eyes at that, Destiny.
You
Well,
asked the
my question was, is what concerns were brought up privately prior to the
You
live?
asked the question about what accountability looks like, and I'm going to answer that question.
Prior to the live, you felt like weren't adequately addressed.
Prior to the live? You mean the live that Z joined?
Yes.
Baby, I wouldn't have anything to do with that because that was literally the same day that I joined the Signal chat. That was literally the same day that I joined this whole tour.
So come on, we shouldn't be doing Signal chat. Like, come on, let's be real. God damn it.
Well, again,
We learned
I'm sorry?
nothing.
So you weren't part of the touring event.
Are
She
you
was.
not listening?
Santana and Erica were both a part of the event.
I think you are confusing what Destiny's asking. He's asking what were the concerns that were pushed through before the tour even happened, before my
I
live.
can't say geek because I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't a part of that part of the conversation. I only know what happened basically as the live went on and afterwards. And in regards to concerns, those were for like yourself, geek, along with the women on the panel, and for other people. I can say that.
Yeah.
In regards to accountability, what accountability looks like, all right, and what it is, for the person who has taken accountability, Destiny, is for them recognizing, acknowledging the person's feelings, letting them know that they hear you, and then also mapping out for that person what they want to do and how they're going to go about changing. Because accountability, again, is changed behavior. I hope that answers your question.
Sure, I can kind of agree with that. Was there any accountability for the women on the live that were publicly airing their grievances and then being incredibly aggressive and rude to the organizers?
Oh, and here's when it's gonna get. Okay.
That is
I think that's-
Just to clarify,
wait, hold on. I think
was
that's
that
a
directed
great-
towards my live? Just to clarify, I didn't hear it fully.
It was.
I just didn't hear it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's directed towards Geek. But Geek, before you answer that, quick question, Destiny. Do you think the burden of responsibility is placed on people who are on a TikTok live randomly having a conversation, or
get rid of this
an
fucking
event
feedback.
organizer who is trying to put together what is being called a movement and leading an actual group of people to unfuck America? Like, who has more of a burden and responsibility, a random people on a TikTok live or an actual organizer who is putting together a multi-level event?
It doesn't have to be an either or. Everybody can have responsibility for how they behave.
Where does more of the responsibility lie, Destiny?
I mean, it depends on the situation. It depends on the scenario.
Come on, Destiny.
I would say that the responsibility lies on people not starting a live and then trashing an event.
Destiny, I know you're big. I know
Respectfully,
you're big on
why
YouTube
isn't
and all
Z
the other
having this
places,
conversation?
But
Because
we're
she
talking
never
about
has
the difference
conversations.
between someone on TikTok, right? Someone, and where there's random people on TikTok all the time hosting lives. I mean, I was there. Geek had like what, 62 people. Again, Z was
Originally, yeah.
responsible. Yeah, Z was responsible for some of the biggest names. Not you, right? I mean, you weren't involved, but some of the biggest names on the left that's on TikTok. And she decided to make a decision, and she made a decision to actually join that conversation and then escalate the conversation. So I personally feel
If this was the conversation I'm thinking of when it comes to the Unfuck America tour, then yeah, I saw video footage of that, and I think the biggest mistake that was made was joining a panel. Sometimes you gotta let people have an opinion. It does, like, people are always gonna shit on your masterpiece. People are always gonna shit on the things that you do. Like, you just gonna have to take the L, take it on the chin, and keep moving. Sometimes you don't need to defend yourself.
like the burden of responsibility lied on her, not on the random TikTok creators who had 62 people in the live before it started.
But I don't believe it's appropriate that we speak past Z as though she's not here. She's very much present in this room here. I think that she should be facilitating these questions and should not be relying on Destiny, as fun as you are with one another, and having this conversation.
Cool.
See, Destiny, are you going on this live?
Can she or can she not speak for herself, or are you going to speak for her?
I can speak for myself. Thank you. The
Well,
question.
then what? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So the question is, why can't the response to her joining the live, why can't the response just be, oh, hey, you shouldn't have done that. Like, it didn't go well. Why can't that be the response? Why does it have to be this massive, like, World War III tier?
That was the response.
It absolutely was not. There were racist remarks made by the people on the live. It obviously exploded out into a huge thing that caused multiple content creators to drop from the event. That clearly was not the response.
Well, wait, hold on. Some misinformation. Nobody dropped after the event. My live happened on the 18th. The tour, the first event happened on the 22nd. Nobody dropped out. My live didn't create any type of like I said, traction originally until a person named Peyton made his video. So I'm just correcting the misinformation just a little bit there.
I feel like there's some key players missing in this conversation. I feel like Destiny, I think I saw the live with him. Not the live, the stream. Well, it's the same fucking thing. I think I saw that shit. I think there's some key players missing in this entire thing that needs to actually be here. I forget his name. The guy, very good content, left-wing content popular. Usually does a lot of call-out shit. I can't remember his name. But he's the one to make the videos. I think he should be here. And maybe Parker and Dean at least should also be here. If they're gonna have this conversation, it should be with the majority of people who were on that tour and the people who dropped out. That's just my opinion.
Nobody dropped out until after the fact, like days after the tour, and that necessarily didn't have anything to do with me. I believe that more had to do with the fact that the people on that tour felt like that was the best thing to do. I don't like, for me or any of the other creators, whether you're calling us messy or not, to be pushed blame on that, which that was not anything that we did. Let's break something down. First and foremost, nobody asked within, like, on that panel, Destiny, I know you watched it. Nobody asked on that panel for anybody for Z to step down from her own organization. That was never the case, okay? That happened after the fact. That happened after the first tour. Just to clarify, and Santana's shaking their head. Nobody asked that, right? What we originally asked was just to speak to Z.
He's so far away.
I'm sorry, you're talking while I'm talking. What was that?
You're saying things that are incorrect and you want to build off it. But
How would you know that they're incorrect, though?
I literally...
Okay, wait. No, it's okay.
Didn't people drop off the event because of what happened on the live prior to the event?
Peyton.
Oh, yes.
Peyton was the only person.
I was under the impression that you were saying they dropped before the tour even happened. Is that not what you were
They dropped
saying?
afterwards, but they said they should have dropped before. They did.
Well, Good Trouble and Peyton
I would
dropped
have
before.
known the totality would have happened. They
Good
said-
Trouble wasn't committed.
Right?
Okay, so yeah, sure. I mean, ultimately, I still don't think. Let's be honest, Stephen. Or I'm sorry. Do you go by Destiny or Stephen? I'm looking at your name. I want to make sure. Stephen. Okay. So first and foremost, I mean, yeah, that could be the case that they dropped because of my live. I'm sure that's mostly the reason why. I'm not going to deny that, right? But my issue is that we, the women, me and the women on that live, are getting blamed for like the way like this all happened. Nobody asked Z to come up. I mean, or at least, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Nobody forced Z to come up on my live, to be fair, right? We were perfectly fine with talking to just the people that were just going to be on that tour, not the lead organization. We had decent conversations. We all got different answers from these people. It was still disorganized, right? Just based off the way that, they were giving all different answers from like different questions that we had for them. Let me correct that really quickly. And second of all, in regards to the quote unquote, the aggression that you're saying that was put on my live, I would say that was like kind of built up when we're specifically talking to Z, right? I don't know about you, Stephen, but I've seen you go off at people that completely deny the work that you've done. Because I used to watch you quite a bit in my, when I was a little bit younger. I've seen you snap at people after they consistently deny who you are. So I'm not understanding why you are like, you're the type of person to call somebody flat out an R word, R word, blah, 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 blah. Crazy shit, right? After that, but you're upset that one person, by the way, one racial comment saying lipless, assless, white, like you're upset about that. I think that's a little hypocritical.
I'm not upset about that. What I'm saying is I don't understand how this entire event got nuked as a result of the live.
Listen,
Hey, hold on. I got a quick question.
Didn't it still
ask
happened?
them,
quick
okay?
question,
I
quick
just
question.
posted the live.
Quick question. Hey, so Destiny,
Things that were said, or they felt like Z didn't handle it in a perfect way. That's fine.
Destiny, I have a quick question for you because I agree with you, right? So you're saying you're trying to understand how the whole thing got nuked, right?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, no one can hear you. You like you're talking to your phone and we can't hear you.
Yeah, you're a little muffled.
That's
We started talking right after.
I hear you. Yeah. Hey, so you would say that like you don't understand how this whole thing got nuked. Would it have been You know, something that would have been avoidable if, even if Z was on the panel. And Z, I would love to hear you actually come off mute and speak for yourself instead of having people defend you. Weird. Anyway, but wouldn't it have been actually beneficial?
Why are you?
Wouldn't it have?
You just speak over me, so
Wouldn't it
I'm
have
letting
been
Amanda go
beneficial if, while Z was up on the panel, she had someone that had direct insight to not only, you know, the whole Black dysphoria, but just understanding what was happening on this TikTok live? If she had someone adamantly begging her to stop the conversation and get off of the live, like, that could have saved these before it escalated to that point, right?
Maybe, but it doesn't need to escalate to that point, right? You could just there's no reason for this to have gotten as big as it did. I just think it's incredibly silly.
To clarify, I don't think anybody would be denying that. I'm actually surprised that everything blew out the way that it did, right? What we all asked, right? Like, so there's two things about this. Originally, all we were asking is like, hey, like, we thought that was a little bit inappropriate, right? That was originally what we were saying. We weren't asking anybody to step down or any creators to like get off the fucking tour, right? That would be stupid, because we still believed, if you guys did watch my live, we still believed that this movement could be a perfect opportunity for us to get pushed out there, right? That was good. My issue is,
when you guys when you guys are saying that like the organizer is racist, that there wasn't enough representation, when that one Jalen or whatever Jaden guy made videos saying that Black creators weren't being paid, I feel like it's very dishonest to say, oh, nobody was saying that somebody had to step down. Like, it seems like after that live.
So you're speaking for other people, what other people said. Now, I don't know if you watched my live. I don't know if you watched my live, Stephen. I unfortunately don't know, but let me make this clear. Me and a few others on that panel actively were saying we don't care. Oh, I hate to say this. We didn't care about the representation. Like, we actively said that over and over again. We said, hey, if anything, we said the representation might cause harm, which is why security even got brought up. That's the main reason why security even brought up, because we were like, we fear for the Black creators that are going on this tour, considering the fact that this is going to be in one of the most extreme conservative universities that exist on America, right? We actively said like, hey, like we're not comfortable. We're not necessarily comfortable with that. We also, now there was people on my panel that disagreed, right? If y'all listened to the fucking live, you would see that we were actively even disagreeing with each other with our own critiques of the tour, right? The reason why it even started to like pop off is because other creators that were going on the tour started to even come on my live, right? There's so much misinformation out there that I feel like, not necessarily you, Destiny, because once again, I understand that you reached out to Z and she told you however she felt about it. It is what it is.
Just to be clear, I think I watched like 3 hours of your guys' content, like the live before.
Okay, so if you did watch it, then you would know that I'm telling the truth. Everything what I've been saying so far towards you.
Really, really, really mad when she joined, and then it seemed like from there.
Whoa. To be fair, no. Let's clarify. She came up on my panel, Steve, and then she immediately was starting to speak like when I was trying to like actually calm down the panel. Right. So, and I said, "Well, calm down."
Being pretty provocative, no? People were.
Well, hey,
that's exactly. Wait, hold on. Wait.
Escalated
Santana,
that though.
1 second, Santana. That's exactly why I was trying to calm down the panel. As the host, I feel like I needed to do that. She came on and was provoking it even more by interrupting when I'm trying to tell people to calm down and like stop over speaking each other. That it was overstimulating.
I don't think
like, that's the very first thing that I said before she even stepped in. Like,
listen, the thing about all of this is, yes, Geek, you were keeping it very civil. I watched the whole thing, and Destiny, again, I'm not necessarily blaming you because for some reason Z has put you and also this Ann person and also Clarkson as a shield in front of her. Mercedes was doing it before, but Mercedes seems like has taken too much of a bit of heat and has pulled back. So the thing is, Geek was actually keeping it really cool. Hey Z, come off mute. I got a question for you. Z, while Hannah,
hold on. Do you guys want me to play a portion of the live? Because this idea
No. I have a quick question for.
1 second. Because before the live even started, the introduction to Z was, "I will let you speak, or you will speak when I let you." Like, to think that this live came at it from a position.
Wait a second. I said that. But let me clarify. You played. So last time we had this conversation about 2 weeks ago. To be fair, Mercedes.
Video.
So you watched the full thing. Okay. Yeah. If you're going to play it, how about you play like the 15 minutes before she even actually speaks?
Yeah,
the first thing that she says, mind you, is Oh, great! I love to see leftists coming together. Obviously, being sarcastic and condescending. Okay, so all I say is "Yo, calm down." I don't appreciate the fact that you said that, especially when considering that I'm like trying to talk to the panel.
The first thing that was said about her before she even paneled, like she was paneled up, she had not spoken at any point yet. The first thing that was said was you made a joke saying she can speak when I let her speak.
She was actually
hold
already
on.
on the panel. Well,
She
was on the
She had
panel.
already spoke before that.
She was already on the panel.
No. Hold on. Geek.
I will pull it up.
He had already spoke before that. Z, come off of mute. Z,
I'll pull
did
it
you
up.
send a message to one of the people that was on the panel, specifically Hannah, telling her to make a
cannot stand
comment
this
that
feedback
actually
right now.
elevated the actual live? Did you tell her to bring up
I
a
see.
traumatic event
Wait, hold on.
to a black
This is
woman
not-
on the
I'm not
live that
relating
elevated
a
it?
tiny issue. I'm just
Why
curious.
can't Z answer that?
Wait. Do we
Yeah.
agree that
No. Hold on, Destiny. Respectfully, we just want to hear Z answer this one
no one
question.
cares, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
literally, nobody
Yeah,
cares.
we don't care about
Again,
you,
you're
Destiny.
protecting her. V,
The question
did
is
you
on a macro
Stop
level.
white
bring
splaining.
up something?
On a macro level.
Did you tell
On a
someone
macro
to
level.
ask a question
Text somebody
that
on
would
Pipe down,
actually
please.
make someone relive a traumatic event? Yes or no?
Politely shut the fuck up.
Yes, true. Santana, shut the fuck up. Why? Okay, was this event worth?
I wasn't
Can you
talking to
slap
Santana.
nuts?
Oh, were you talking to yourself?
Z,
No,
can you?
you're talking
I
to
was
you.
talking to you,
Do
Steven.
you think it was worth?
Excuse me, Z, can you
Was it worth it? The entire event was new.
Can you respond to
Over
Santana,
this-
please?
Let Destiny talk. Holy shit.
Guys, if you keep talking over people.
I have the loudest microphone, anyways. Can you please respond to Santana?
No, I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Destiny
drop
speak.
it.
He might just have the loudest
And
microphone.
then I'll respond to
Of course,
that.
you're gonna
Destiny
let him
speak for
speak
you.
for you.
Let your mouthpiece speak for you, Z.
Excuse me, that was a very misogynistic comment, Jaden.
No, it
No
wasn't.
one cares what you
No,
think right
No,
now.
she said it
Destiny.
earlier. To be fair, Stephen.
Very misogynistic.
How was that misogynistic? And how was it black-splaining earlier?
Deconstruct or internalize misogyny.
I do still want to know.
I'm not here to speak for anybody, okay? I'm just.
You
I have some-
are.
Then why are you doing
You're-
it?
you're
You
here-
wouldn't be
you're
here
here
if you
to
weren't.
Jaden, do you need to go to an
I mean, you just said that you haven't spoken to any of the black individuals as part of the organization, and yet you seem to be in a apt position to speak for Z.
Also, you lack context. You don't have the full information, but yet you're coming in as if you have all the.
But why aren't you letting Z answer the question? She was asked a very direct and pointed question from Santana, and for some reason you feel
Ladies, can you just mute them?
To be fair,
Christ,
Stephen,
Jesus.
I think it is fair for her to
Everybody
mute
mute
it.
except Z.
As a Christian, that was offensive to me. That felt like there was a microaggression.
This is literally
Okay, well, I don't
an attempt
care.
This whole thing.
Okay,
This is so unproductive.
How about we let
It's an
Z
attempt.
speak?
And
is unproductive. Yeah, I agree.
Stephen,
What?
The frustrating part about this so far is that Z refuses to come off. Hold on, wait, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. The frustrating part about this is that this person Z is refusing to come off the mic because she's allowing Destiny to white knight for her right now, and that's fucking crazy to put him in that position. That's literally crazy. Oh, that might have fixed it.
Why are
Person's
you
just a
here?
chaos agent.
Exactly why are you here, Destiny?
because I care about these events failing for
You
no
don't.
reason. I feel like these
You don't.
people eat themselves alive for no reason. I don't know
You
why.
absolutely don't.
Wait, hold on, but that's the issue, Stephen. You keep on asking us, and we keep on hearing, and I feel like we
I
already
haven't asked
answered.
you anything because you've interrupted me along with Santana every single time I try to talk. I can barely
Well, to
get a
be
word out.
well, wait, hold on. Let's not put me in there. To be fair, I feel like I've been very fair. Come on, let's not.
Destiny, stop
Come
with
on,
the white
Stephen. I've been
fragility.
very. Come
Ooh.
on, let's
It's
not do
scary
that.
when white men raise their voice. So calm down.
Santana, like
I'm
if you
just
keep
all I was
talking,
trying to
you're
tell you,
dropping
Steve.
the channel.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you
I know
asked-
you are, Z. It's
Living in the
fine.
world without
It's
using-
Well,
fine.
because nobody can have a conversation when
It's
you're
fine.
just
Z,
talking.
No, she's
Okay,
here.
so hold on, bro, please, everyone, please. Z, you have the floor.
Okay, I want Stephen to finish what he was saying
See,
because he's been trying to
That's
respond
exactly
to
what
you,
I'm
and then I
talking
can.
about.
He's trying to
and then I
respond
can
for me.
respond to
You need to
Santana's
deconstruct
question.
your-
Well, to be fair, Santana asked him a question, and then Stephen was like, "Wait, no, hold on." So I don't.
Okay, does everybody here think it was worth it that this whole event got so disrupted over the resulting event spawning from that live and the reactions to it? Was that worth it? Was it a good thing that event?
That's actually a good question. Was it worth it? From the video I saw, you can't let microaggressions like fly, right? That can't we really have to do this thing. I was talking to somebody earlier. We got to do this thing where we separate political actors with social actors. Not everybody's going to react the same way. If I didn't hear the microaggression when I saw the video, right? I didn't hear it. I did, maybe I think there's parts of the clips or something clipped or I missed something, right? From what I heard, I didn't hear it. I did hear her come up to the box disrespectfully, but I didn't hear the actual microaggression, or maybe we all have a different definition, not different definition, or different take of what certain microaggressions are and what they sound and look like. But I do think that we need to actually start, like, I don't understand why Destiny's up there right now. I don't get it. He's more so on the political side. I don't think that they're talking, that panel that I saw was more so speaking on the social aspect of the fact that you have a white person that's potentially or was spreading microaggressions, so it was addressed. They have these claims saying that black people are being treated unfairly or they're not getting equal treatment, you know, as their white counterparts are getting on this Unfuck America tour. So I feel like that's a valid claim in the discussion to have. Destiny is looking at this from a standpoint of, well, for fuck's sakes, we're never going to win elections if the left keeps, you know, eating themselves up. But you would first have to figure out if the black women on that panel were even Democrats. Maybe they just have a gripe. There are people who just have like actual gripes for racism. I think that's the difference. I don't understand why he's even up here.
I got
Yes.
entirely. Okay, why?
Would you like to know why? Sure. The reason why it was worth it is because this entire event was put together on dead ground that had no actual footing.
My opinion, just that I don't think it was worth it. I don't think it was worth nuking the entire thing. I don't believe in accountability or apologies. Fuck that. I believe in change behavior going forward. I'm not going to sit there on a live and then pretend as if I want to talk to a white person and be like, you were microaggressive to me. I don't give a shit. My opinion, all white people are going to be inherently microaggressive. Nobody's perfect. I expect it. It doesn't surprise me anymore. I'm not saying that to say as if people should just let it go. I'm just stating that I don't think it was worth nuking an entire thing. That's my opinion.
Because from the very beginning, the point of the Democratic Party is having multiple people under one umbrella. That's our strength, right? Leaning into progressive things. When you have someone who is leading not only a quote unquote movement, but a group of people who does not have the ability to, one, not make decisions like hop on a TikTok live and completely derail the event that's happening, and two, can't take accountability, and three, for some reason can't properly communicate what's happening to the people that she is directly quote unquote responsible for, and then four, goes out and shits on so many people afterwards. Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, the actual overall premise of the the tour, I still think the premise as far as counter programming is a good thing. That tour specifically, no, it needs to burn in hell.
So to answer that is
hold on. So if you have a disagreement on a live as an organizer, and then you get super attacked by everybody from it, and you disagree with how that live went, then that's grounds for destroying an entire tour. This is a curious question. Can you think of a single right-wing tour?
Yeah, he's about to do it again. This is why I don't know why he's up there. They're not looking at it from a political standpoint. This has nothing. Their gripe with Z right now has absolutely nothing to do with politics. And he's about to bring up a politic. So I agree with what I think he's about to say, but I don't think the situation with Z and all the other content creators has anything to do with politics. I think that's, yeah. Whoops, wrong one.
Or a single right-wing movement that has been deconstructed over something even remotely similar to this? I'm just curious.
No, because they don't hold the same morals, values, or standards as the left. Do we want to be like the right? Are we okay with leaning into conspiracy theories?
This is going somewhere that wasn't intended to
I
go.
want to be like, well,
but are you okay? Are you saying that you want to be the right? Is that what you're saying?
We don't have to be the right. We want to organize.
Okay, so should we have more morals and standards than the people on the right?
Morals don't count for anything if you can't enforce
morals
them.
And standards.
Standards don't count for anything if you lose elections.
Okay, so you're good with being the right. That's what you're saying.
That's the only thing you can do. Having people that don't have to be neutral.
Being the right is the only thing that we can do.
Right. That's the difference. It's Donald Trump, and the only thing that separates Donald Trump from a left-leaning organizer is whether or not that organizer takes accountability because they got screamed out on a live. Really?
First and foremost, there's a complete separation between Donald Trump and Z. The actual
Donald Trump,
the point
on the left is whether or not they can take accountability.
Why are you mute him?
Why are you muting Santana?
Why are you mute him?
It was a good back and forth. There's
Destiny
no
and I
need to
going back and
mute.
forth. Why do you keep
There was no
muting?
need to mute.
You guys gotta like talk without interrupting. And Santana, you keep interrupting.
Hold that same standard for Destiny.
Because you haven't muted him one time, and to be fair, we've been talking over each other. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, like, you know, it's whatever.
Just,
But
like,
to
work
answer
on
your
the-
question
work on the
specifically,
lack
It's
of-
okay.
Destiny,
She's a little hypocritical. It's fine.
Just work on the lack of interrupting, because what happens is when you guys start interrupting, someone else's mic just completely cuts out, and you can't even hear the conversation. So like the audience is just listening to one side, because depending on whose mic decides to cut out, it's not.
I can hear it completely fine.
That's literally what I was going to say. Thank you.
You were going to say something? That'd be a first.
Jaden, I
God,
talked to
you
you
are
for the
so-
first 45 minutes of this live. What
Thank
are you
you.
talking
I
about?
dropped
Oh,
it.
boo. I just wanted to ask Stephen. Well, first and foremost, I actually
Jaden,
want to address
no.
Stephen's question that I feel like I already answered. You asked us earlier, and you did ask me
Now we gotta
directly
hear
as
normal
well
voices.
if it was worth it.
Goddamn.
Like Santana already answered. I'm going to say that I don't think I think it's worth for things to be exposed, yeah. But yeah, I still wish that the tour went on. As a matter of fact, I think I made multiple videos. I think I even consistently went live. I went live during the tour event, was like literally saying, I hope that this, is successful. And I can quite literally, I'm pretty sure I actually posted the video, right? Like the live on my YouTube, to be fair. So there's just two things about it. Like, I think two things can be true at once. Like, did I wish, or did anybody wish that this was like, that it blew up the way that it did? Not necessarily, right? But I do think that you would also say that we as the progressive, because I don't know who's a liberal, who's a leftist or not, or a Democrat here, the progressive should still hold each other accountable. And like I said, we within the panel were not trying to demote Z from her position or anything. We within that panel weren't really asking for anything. We didn't expect shit from my life.
I don't think the people in the panel did, but there were a lot of people who who saw it and did kind of go at some of the more popular people on the Unfuck America tour and read them the riot act. They were paying for the shit that Z did on that panel. So there was a little bit of pushback on those individuals, which did result in people like Dean and Parker dropping out and all these other people. So there was a bit of pushback. I don't think it was from anybody on that panel. I agree with Geek. Geek was they were just commenting on something they didn't like.
To be blunt with you, really,
I don't think
quite
their
really
intention
didn't.
was to destroy
The people on that tour decided to do what they did, right? I respect it to an extent of holding the leader accountable. That's all.
When you say that it was worth it for things to be exposed, I'm just curious. On a scale from like 1 to 10, where 10 is somebody actually lynches somebody, and 1
Holy shit.
is like somebody calls somebody a big meanie. How bad is everything that happened? Like when you say we expose bad behavior, like where on this scale from 1 to 10 are we rating this?
Well,
That's crazy. I'm not even going to repeat that part, not cuss on this fucking stream. From on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, I don't know, it's just a strange freak, whatever. That's crazy thing to ask, a black woman. That's crazy.
I think that it should
He's such an asshole.
I don't think I should be rating it, right? Because if you were to say something inappropriate right now, I probably would call you out quite literally in this moment. Now, what do I wish for you to be deplatformed and demoted from your position? Not necessarily. I didn't necessarily wish for, once again, Z to be deplatformed or demoted from her position. What I wanted was, or what we were at least hoping was, just to clarify, not wanted, because I don't think I really cared to that point until after the fact. What we were expecting is for her to at least, I guess, be a leader and be like, hey, yo, what happened was inappropriate. It was fucked up.
Sure, I understand.
This, that, and the other.
Also, wait. So, Destiny, was your question how much racism is acceptable? Are you saying how much racism is acceptable?
Yes.
That's your
On
On a
question.
scale of 1 to
How
10, with
much
10
no
being
racism
lynched.
is acceptable?
What?
Destiny, none. No racism is acceptable.
Okay,
None.
Santana, is there a single
None.
white person that has no racism?
There are white people that are actively deconstruction and working on being anti-racism. Not you.
I don't think that was a question, and I agree. There is not one white person that doesn't have some sort of racism.
But
I
I'm
agree with that
saying, as
statement.
far as racism and acceptability, no, there's no acceptable level of racism.
Is there a single white person with no racism?
Again, no.
Okay, then
No.
you just said that no racism is acceptable.
Exactly. But did you listen to what I said after that? Did you listen to what I said after that, Destiny?
You said that there are white people that are actively deconstructing.
I said
the
Destiny, you're not-
deconstructing,
you're-
There are no
also
white
working on being
Your
anti-racist.
movement has no room for white people.
Interrupted.
Yeah, that's not what was said. That's not
Okay,
what
I'm
was
sorry,
said.
let
But
me ask the
you're
question.
trying to figure out.
You said
Okay,
that no
wait.
racism
So
is acceptable, correct? And then you said that no white person has no racism, correct? So tell me how does this syllogism not work? Tell me.
Destiny gets these type of fucking discussions all the time. Like, why is Santana being muted? This is no different.
He's muted
he
again.
asked me a question.
Why do you
keep
keep
muting
what
me?
is going on?
If he can,
Mercedes, stop being fragile.
And decide to stop
You're being
interrupting, he can
sensitive,
move on.
Mercedes.
So
Stop.
everybody's being
Steven's
fragile in this live.
over talking him as
You
well. To
can-
be fair,
No. You can respond to his comment. That's fine, but just like stop interrupting in the process of him asking it.
Sure.
Those of us want to
Sure.
hear what he has to say. We can't hear what he's even saying because
How about he put on like
You're doing it
headphones
to me
or
right now.
something?
You're doing it to me right now. We can't hear the premise of his question when you won't stop. Just like let him finish his question and then you respond, and vice versa, whatever. Just like stop interrupting. It's not that hard.
is it the
Think
same
he's
for
going to
him
get
as well?
headphones or
To be
something, so
fair,
it's better.
Mercedes, because let's be honest, he has been interrupting a few times, multiple times as well. I feel like that is sometimes the flow of the conversation.
Who's interrupting?
It's a little heated. Steven, Destiny, aka Destiny. He's admitted that he's been interrupting. I'm not understanding.
I see Destiny ask questions, and then in the middle of him asking the question, he keeps getting.
Okay, that's Glaze. No, Destiny definitely was doing some interrupting there. Once again, this is just if you've watched Destiny streams or back and forths on Piers Morgan or wherever the fuck he is. This is nothing new. I mean, like, just let it go. If it's just two people going back and forth, I can see three people being a problem. But if Santana and Destiny, which I can hear them both clearly, are just going back and forth, then it's no different. Like, I don't know why
Interrupted.
it's such a
10
big
minutes
deal.
ago-
He's done the
I will
same
tell you,
thing.
From watching and sitting back, Santana is doing 80% of the interrupting.
10 minutes ago, you muted Santana for asking Z a question, and then Steven literally jumped in and interrupted and consistently went back and
Which
forth with
Z
him.
still won't
And
answer
you
that
only
question.
muted Santana. I'm just calling it out. I'm just saying,
Mr.
Mercedes, that's
Chandler
what
Live.
happened. And
Because three people were simultaneously talking, and Santana being one of them.
okay, so I
Who were
don't
the other
remember
two?
what the question was. Does anybody remember what Santana, what your
Z.
question was?
Yeah, I got it. Z. What did you directly send a message to someone that was on the panel and ask them to specifically say something that was going to trigger a traumatic event for a black woman that was on the panel, escalating things before you got there? Yes or no?
I asked her to ask a very specific question.
So yes, you did. You
and I can
specifically
repeat
sent
it.
you sent the question to escalate things
I got it,
before you even got there. So yes, you
Santana,
set things on
Let her
fire.
finish.
He's doing it again. He physically can't help himself.
Because
Hey,
I
you need to
I'm not
stop.
sure
Like,
why.
seriously.
Okay, well.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, my point's made. Thank you.
What happened? What's going on?
Some order. If you can't, if like Erica had no reason to interject there.
There are some people who are not capable of hosting these type of lives, and I don't necessarily think that any of them should have been dropped, but it's not my live. I feel like the conversation, I kind of feel like if you're going to, you have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people that aren't engaging actively. Why not drop those individuals and just have the people who are engaging stay on the panel? That would be Santana, that would be Destiny, that would be Geek. And I guess Z was supposed to be talking, but she refuses to do so. I mean, you'll have better control of the panel, even though the two in the current, I can't remember, I don't know their names. Even though everybody else is not talking, I kind of feel like it's more of a, it's easier that way. But
The question was between Z and Erica, and then Z and I think it was Santana, and then Erica starts interjecting, and then like Santana asks Z a question, doesn't let Z finish the question in the middle of asking. You guys need to, I don't know where the respect is just.
Can I be honest with you, host? Can I be honest with you though? I feel like you're being a
That's
little.
microaggression.
No,
Yeah,
you're funny as hell, Card. Not really. Anyways, no, not a microaggression. The fuck? I was going to be honest with Mercedes and say, do you not realize that you're being hypocritical right now? The amount of times that, let's be honest,
shit, what the fuck fuck's Katie Porter again? What else Katie Porter again? Shit, I forgot who Katie Porter is. It's embarrassing. I want to check out what Piers Morgan is doing. I don't even know. Do we want to talk about the Diddy trial? I get so tired of hearing about the goddamn Diddy trial. We're going to talk about the Diddy
The
trial.
jacked up Power Rack Pro is the ultimate all-in-one home gym system for a full body workout, and you can do it in your spare room or garage. I'm delighted to say I now have one
God
of you
damn it.
there. What's your response?
Well, I appreciate the passion. I do. But he's charged under the White Slave Trafficking Act, which requires that he paid somebody to come out here to have sex. I haven't heard anyone testify or read in any transcript that anyone testified that Sean Combs himself paid anyone. Have you heard that, Pierce? I've not
No,
heard
in fact,
that any one of
when
these
we
people
had
received payment.
this character called the Punisher on, who was a male prostitute, and he was actually a very eloquent guy to interview. And he made it crystal clear that over an 18-month period, it was Cassie that did all the negotiating with him and facilitated all the payments. And in fact, Diddy was, a kind of bit part player sitting naked in the corner watching the Punisher having sex with Cassie, who had arranged everything. So I can still see how that could be construed by a skillful lawyer as a form of coercion. But as Bill Maher said at the end, at the end of his show on Friday, when you have somebody like Cassie Ventura and she's talking about her love of freak-offs and can't wait to do them, it is hard, I would imagine, to sit in the jury and think, why would she say that if she didn't actually enjoy them?
I think people, Stockholm syndrome. Sometimes when you're a victim for a very, 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 very long time, the acts that you initially are against, you kind of get used to it. It's almost like, and I'm not trying to refer to her as like a dog or what have you, but it's like training a dog in a sense, right? You have to, there's a constant thing. The dog wants to shit in the house because the dog just needs to shit. But if you constantly teach the dog, hey, I need you to, if you drag the dog outside, tell, hey, you're not coming back inside till you take a shit. The dog wants to come inside, so the dog decides to take a shit. So then for the dog now knows, if I want to take a shit, I need to do it outside. That was a shitty ass analogy that I just did. But I said that to say, basically, when it comes to people who have been abused for a very, very long time, they start to sympathize with their abuser. So if Cassie Ventura actually did engage in these acts after being subjected to it for a long period of time, remember Sean Combs is considered a dangerous man. They've been saying this throughout the whole entire trial and shit. Everybody who's covered it. Remember, I don't think there was an easy out. I think that sometimes you have to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't just coercion. Maybe it was like almost like a gun to the head in a sense. I don't know. I just feel like they're about to just dismiss that entirely.
And that's the big difference between, we can talk about.
Well, quickly, Ariel, quickly, and I'll come back to Matthew on that point.
Yeah, sure. I think the problem here with the question you just asked was the understanding of what being a woman in love with a man would do. So I think a lot of this is being, of course.
Would you have? Well, okay, but let me be direct, Ariel. Let me be direct to you. Let me be direct.
Sure.
I don't know anything about your life. I don't know if you're married, not married, in a relationship with whoever. But let me just ask you: would you arrange for somebody whose name is the Punisher to come and have sex with your partner for money?
Was the partner, her partner would have to be mentally and physically abusive and completely mindfuck her to the point where, okay, well, now she's doing this shit till it becomes now the fucking norm. This happens. That's why sometimes victims of sexual assault become the assaulters later on in their lives because they haven't been able to deal with it. They feel it as something that's okay because it's happened to them.
If my man was a billionaire who had the influence, the reach, the power of someone like P. Diddy, and he not only is my man, but he is my boss, and he has my life in his hand. And that's what he told me he was into. And that's what he told me he needed from me. How do I not do that? Whether or not I
Really?
like it or don't like
Really?
it, what choice do I have?
Well,
what
actually-
choice? Seriously, let's talk about it. What choice does she
you have
have?
every
I know a
choice.
ton of people who tried to go away from Diddy.
This is not your simple Pierce. I mean, Pierce has to understand this is not your simple. I'm just gonna walk away from an average Joe. This is P Diddy. I don't think there was an easy out for Cassie in this particular sense. It's P fucking Diddy. People all over the industry said he was a bad person.
Who tried to leave him, we'll call it, and they were not successful. He blackballed them, he hurt them, he tried to kill them. I mean, it's I think the thought process of why people are being dense, like they don't understand
Yeah, but
why
the
she
Punisher
would have
told
done
me-
that,
but
being in
hang
the
on, okay.
position that she was in.
Listen, the Punisher told me that she actively enjoyed it, that they had a really good time over 12 months. They met a dozen times. I think. No, I'm sorry. I think it was over. Hang on. It was actually a longer. It was actually a longer period. I think it was over a 2-year period, and they met up to a dozen times. And she was always, according to him, having a perfectly good time.
That means zero shit. I've seen people that been abused smiling on fucking face, but then when I go home or when people go home, they have to deal with the fucking reality that they're still in the house with their fucking abuser.
And
According
the proper
to him,
response
did he
is,
know
if
whether or not
someone-
she was drugged? Yeah, I mean, we all know she was not herself. We all know she clearly had to go to rehab for some type of substance
All right,
abuse
let me bring
problem.
Matthew in.
And I think for
Let me
him
bring
to
Matthew
say,
in.
go ahead.
Okay, Matthew. So
here's the mistake here's the mistake everyone keeps making. That woman who took the stand this month is not the woman we're talking about from 13 years ago. She may be a perfectly spectacular mother, wife, significant other today. The charges go back as whether or not she was calling men up who are the Punisher and say, come over and do what you do, and then paying them. And the correct response, if someone says, hey, I would really like to do A, B, and C, you say, no, thank you. I don't want to have someone do A, B, and C unless you want to do A, B.
Wow. There are a lot of victims that would like to probably take a fucking couple of steel chairs and just drop it onto his bald head and try to enforce and tell this motherfucker that it's not that easy to just walk away, especially women. Women are abused on a daily basis, and it's not that difficult to walk away from your abuser. Or I'm sorry, it's not as easy as he's saying to walk away from your abuser. This is just somebody that's completely detached from reality. He's never been through it. Maybe he's the one who perpetuates it. He's never been through it, so he'll never understand.
And C, he is a domestic violence defendant, or should have been, without question. You cannot say that when someone sets up a freak off when Diddy's not even there, in between screwing his trainer and his other employee, that she's hopelessly helpless in this entire scenario. And you have 8 people on that jury who have unfortunately been through or know someone who's had someone who's cheated on them repeatedly. And every part of this case is based upon whether or not Cassie is credible and
see how this is
believable.
funny.
And one thing the defense is going to say, we're not talking about this wonderful, talented, pregnant woman here. We're talking about the woman who, as Piers points out, called the Punisher to come back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again over a period of years. That's rather difficult to believe that this is a person
she was in a relationship with Diddy. Like, are we going to keep glossing over the fact you guys act like...
Here it goes. Here it comes. If you choose to do something, if you chose to wear that outfit out at a club and you get sexually assaulted, here it comes. Here it comes.
Okay, as Bill Maher said, at some point in time, you have to take responsibility
There it
for
is.
your life.
There it is. You have to take responsibility for your life, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is a complete dickwad. That's victim shaming 101, to tell a woman or tell anybody who's in distress, hey, you need to take control of your own life. You know what? Kill that. Eliminate the son of a bitch who's doing this shit to you. It should be that easy to pick up a knife, right? It should be that easy to go find a gun. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe you should not control your life. If you know that if you're wearing a certain outfit at late at night, you go walk down a dark alley, the chances of you getting, attacked is really, really high. You should take control of your life and not wear that outfit.
her man
And
though.
if you say,
but it's just not her
you
man
cannot-
though. It's just
This is
not
blatant
her
misogyny.
man though.
First of all,
it is her boss.
let's be clear.
It is the man who is in control of her life. So to just quantify it in such a way where it's just her man, that is incorrect.
You know what's
Okay, let's be
fascinating? You
clear.
know what's fascinating about this is actually the way you both blew up there is actually the crux of this whole case. It's whether the jury is going to view this as Matthew is viewing it, and many people I know are viewing it, or whether they're going to view it, Ariel, as you're viewing it, and many people I know share your view. And it is split. You know, I know so many people who believe he's got a chance of walking despite being...
Literally, we had a video of him beating the shit out of her in a hotel. You mean to tell me that he didn't have any sort of control? She was literally running for her fucking life. What kind of decent person does that shit? Like, are we seriously talking about the same motherfucker?
Despicable and a woman abuser because they haven't proved their case and because it looks like she was consensually agreeing to a lot of this stuff. And there are other people who agree with you, Ariel, that they think it was a form of long-running coercion by somebody who, as you say, is a
Stockholm
very
syndrome.
powerful lover, but also a boss. And I think it's going to come down to whether this jury agree with Matthew or agree with Ariel about what Cassie Ventura's mindset was when she agreed to do all these things. I have to say, my own view slightly pivoted after that interview with the Punisher. And that might be unfair and it might be wrong. But I listened to him and I thought, wow, really? For over 2 years, over a dozen meetings in hotels, she did all the transactional stuff. She seemed to be really enjoying.
Piers, you might be on something if it was just her. But she did all this for Diddy. Like, I get it. These, like, some dudes, and I feel like it's really the older people, right? Respectfully, that kind of try to detach themselves from these type of things. You know what I mean? It's really, it's not, because men would fall into the same category. They can also get long-term coerced or manipulated into thinking that they should do this. This is the right thing to do if you love a man or you love a woman.
If I'm on
so
that
long.
jury, I'm finding that quite difficult to get past. But anyway, we shall see. It's a fascinating case. Thank you both very much indeed for joining me. I appreciate it. Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on...
Should I troll? Should I troll? No, I'm not gonna troll. It's not to troll.
Let's have a robust discussion about what's going on with the budget bill. Nobody's going to care about this AI thing for like years. But I'm telling you, what's happening right now is going to be remembered and remembered poorly. I want to do this with the three Americans, okay? Very different perspectives on what's going on, and you can benefit from each and all. Bill O'Reilly and Stephen A. Smith. Oh, and a quick nod, okay? Bill O'Reilly just came back from China, where he was getting this incredible experience of understanding where their head is, and they were celebrating him as the mountain of a man that he certainly believes himself to be. And Stephen A. Smith just signed another redonkulously big deal where he's going to do 2 shows for Sirius XM. So both of these men are coming off big wins, and it's good to see you both. Bill, I start with you. So the president is supposedly going at it with his own party about what this bill should be. How do you understand the dynamic, and what are you watching?
Okay, first of all, it's Stephen A's world. We just live in it.
True. Squirrels at best.
Every day, every way. You can't get away from the man. And if you try, he'll come to your house.
He's even on my soap
All
opera.
right, so he's
Oh, shit, I forgot he
it's
did. I
Stephen
forgot
A.
that.
And it should be. Okay, it's a good thing for the country.
You see how he holds the gun?
Thank you. The bill, spending and tax, is very important for the Trump administration for one primary reason. It holds the tax rates where they are. The Trump administration believes that if the bill fails and taxes go up automatically, which is what would happen, that the country will enter a recession and that Donald Trump will be doomed by that recession. That is what this is all about. Now, you can pick it apart. It's easy to do. Elon Musk doesn't like it. Thibodeau doesn't like it for the Knicks. No one likes it, whatever.
Republicans don't like it.
What Americans need to understand is it's all about, for the president, averting a recession. He wants to keep the tax rates the way they are, and that's everything in this bill. One other thing. You were pretty fair in your encapsulation of the bill, Cuomo. But the CBO also issued today a projection that the tariff money coming to the USA will cover the $2.5 trillion deficit over 10 years. That has not been reported by the dishonest media at all. At all. In fact, I watched CNN at 7, and I thought we were going into a depression. It was like, oh my God, we have to sell everything because it's going to be Hooverville again. That's how they're doing it.
Right.
So I don't know. Nobody knows. But
no, I'm just saying that's what I
CBO
mentioned.
didn't issue
Bill,
that
that's
today.
what I was talking about when I said taken at its most generous
Yeah,
assessment.
but you didn't mention it.
That's what the
You
CBO
didn't
score
mention it
was, based on the
specifically
original
enough.
tariffs, which have already been changed. But I don't know how good, to me, that's a straw man argument because they already changed that
Well,
number. But
some are up, some are down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Some are up, some are down. But that should be on the record. You wouldn't argue with that.
Mm-hmm.
And the dishonest media in this country, which has now reached scandalous levels, right, just ignores it. Because they want Trump to fail. They want the bill to fail. They
Well, that's
want Armageddon in this country. That's what they want. And that's what they're going to push to get.
Stephen A., I want you to weigh in here.
First of all,
and that recession part also, what you're hearing about that and what you feel. But please go with it, and congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. First things first, I know Bill O'Reilly, hold on to this moment. It's a rarity, but somebody's going to be on national television actually saying, we missed you, my man. I mean, you were gone a little bit too long. You were gone a while. I mean, we missed you. It's good to see you again. You look good after that long trip, okay? So welcome back to the States. Having said that, when you bring up the CBO, I'm going to bring up the CBO, and I'm thinking about the fact that they're talking about $2.4 trillion more dollars added to the deficit over the next decade. Approximately 11 million people without health insurance. Here's where I'm coming from with it. Obviously, you guys know the numbers, you know the intricacies that come along with how this stuff comes into play, what the House is going to play with, what the Senate's going to play with, what Trump's motivation as the President of the United States is at this particular moment in time. But that last part is what you have to understand most people are skeptical about because they ain't been around doing this for 50 plus years like Bill O'Reilly. They ain't been some best-selling author writing around the history of presidents and the history of America for all of these damn decades. They're not as astute in terms of what the issues really are, how it affects the average American the way that a Chris Cuomo does. So all they got to go on is that we've been hearing all of this noise about this $37 trillion debt that we have and how we've got to chip away at that. We've been hearing words like inflation. We've been looking at the job market and wondering.
That's because, Stephen A., you've been lied to. Let me expand this. It's because you've been lied to and you bought it.
When that's going to improve, because I think the numbers show that only 37,000 jobs, were basically created in the last month or so, and it was projected to be about 110,000, but the number was 37. When you hear stuff like that, and then Bill O'Reilly comes on national television with Chris Cuomo, and he's saying, look, this is about Trump and keeping those 2017 tax cuts in place, making sure they don't expire so we don't spiral into a recession. You know what people are hearing? He doesn't want that because it'll make him look bad, and that'll ensure that he probably, he won't be in a position to help the GOP as they move towards 2026 and definitely 2028. And they're thinking along the lines that, once again, we're sacrificial lambs as American citizens, stuck in listening to and being at the mercy of some of these decisions that at the very best seem questionable at this moment in time. That's all I'm thinking about when I listen to what you had to say, Bill, just now. I'm not challenging you and what you're saying, the veracity of your comments, how accurate you are about it. I'm not challenging that. I'm just saying the perspective that you peel from it upon listening to that stuff leaves you a bit shall I say, just disheartened that, you know, when's progress going to be made? When is definitive progress going to take place, as opposed to us hearing about projections and what other people's agendas are? And it doesn't seem like the American citizen seems to be the priority that it needs to be.
Talking about the big, beautiful bill. Stephen A. Smith's concern is, sounds like you guys aren't the focus again. It's all about a political cover play. Bill O'Reilly had said, no, this is about President Trump being worried about a recession, and people should know that
President Trump's not worried about a recession. He's worried about his legacy. He doesn't give two shits about a recession. He knows he'll be okay. He doesn't give two shits about the people who will be affected by a recession. He'll be okay.
there's a chance that the tariffs could cover any tax revenue shortfall. Now, did the CBO say that? Yes, but based on what? Assuming that the original tariff structure stayed in place for an extended period. It's already changed twice. We don't know how long it will be in play, but what we do know is that small businesses all over the country are getting crushed by paying 100% more for things that they were paying for 3 months ago. So the pain is real. Is the promise coming? That's where Bill O'Reilly wants to adjust perspective.
All right, number one, I'm not seeing the pain.
Did he just fart?
They just opened a new
Did
restaurant
Bill O'Reilly
in my
just fart?
town, and they're charging
Small businesses are feeling
$26
it.
for a cheeseburger.
Small businesses are feeling it.
All right, well, fine.
Whoa,
They
whoa,
always
whoa,
feel
stop,
it.
stop,
I'm
stop,
not,
stop.
I'm not seeing a mass.
Push him on that.
Wait. I'm not,
Push him on that, Stephen A. I know you saw it.
not seeing a mass amount of pain, and the data doesn't back it up. The data of bankruptcies doesn't back it
Bankruptcies
up.
spiked in the last month.
Okay, then give me the data because I don't have it.
I'll give it to you.
Number two,
Ben, Google it, send it to me.
If it's true that there is massive pain, which I'm not buying because
I need
there's
a
no
Ben.
data to back
I
it
need me a
up,
Ben.
There is data to
then
back
there's going to be more pain. Then there's going to be more pain if the bill doesn't pass, because then consumers are just going to pull back. Joe Biden had 4 years of a good stock market, a relatively stable economy. There wasn't too much fluctuation. And that was driven by consumer spending. And here's Mr. Cotter for Stephen A. Smith. I'm Mr. Cotter, okay?
Why does this
When you have consumers spending money,
Am I
you're okay.
Barbarino or Horseshack?
When they stop spending, well, you horse, but Shaq wouldn't be the name that I'd use.
Horseshack.
But Washington is Stephen A.
Chris, don't give him an out.
So,
I want to hear what he has to
when
say.
you
I'm
have-
ready for him. Go ahead.
Thank you, Stephen. Shut him up. When you have consumers spending money, the economy is okay. If taxes go up for the wealthy and everybody else by the bill failing, then consumers are going to spend less and a recession is going to happen. It's impossible to predict how bad or whatever. It's like predicting the new Knick coach. Who's going to be the new coach? Nobody knows. Everybody's got an opinion. Okay, number two. This Medicaid, people are going to have no health care. They're in the streets. They're going to be dying, children. This is all a big bunch of bull, all right? All they want to do is say, if you are able-bodied, all right, and you can work, you need to look for work. And if you don't, you're not going to get Medicaid. That's reasonable.
That's not reasonable
absolutely
because they're
reasonable,
actually
okay? Because states like
How-
California
how-
and Oregon are using
Ah,
Medicaid
shit.
money, Stephen A.
One second. How can that be 100% reasonable when not everybody is able to work? What about the individuals who get laid off from jobs and is in good faith looking for a job? You can't be consistent by saying you have to have a job to stay on Medicaid, to still get health care. That's fucking ridiculous. If you're able to obtain it, it should be obtainable. What are you going to just leave people out there in the fucking streets and just let them like, no, you don't get your meds, you don't get anything. You're just going to just sit there and lay because you haven't found a job. The job market is not that easy. I get so sick and tired of old folks like Bill O'Reilly, people just fucking acting as if everything's peachy keen when you've already reached the pinnacle of what you can possibly be doing. Sir, we are not the same. There are individuals out there that are still struggling. I don't understand. Like, you can't just tell people, "Hey, go get a job," or you can't have health care. That's fucking crazy to just say.
They're using it for violin lessons. Okay? There are no standards.
Absolutely.
The feds pump the money in. The Medicaid programs are developed by the states. The far left progressive states just take it and waste it like crazy. You're telling me this doesn't need to be revamped? Yes, it does.
Okay.
So that propaganda doesn't fly. Okay? And the final question, and this is probably the most important, is that we live in a country of confusion right now. All right, so Cuomo says he has data about the last month, and
No,
small
not the last
business are
month.
folding.
Corporate bankruptcies in the first quarter were the highest they've been since 2010. I'm telling you, the pain with small businesses is real. They don't have the pockets to pre-buy inventory the way the big shots did.
An economist can just as easily lay that on the Bidens last year as Trump's first 3 months. It's simple to do.
How?
What I'm trying to
Wait,
tell you-
no, okay. How? Can you go into details? Why does nobody ever ask people to go into details on what you mean? You can easily put this on Joe Biden. Why? Give me something. Why would we lay this on Joe Biden?
But it would be irrational. That's all I'm saying.
You have to be, in your opinion. No.
It'll be
It's not
100% irrational.
If there's some economist that says, look, Biden mismanaged the whole thing, and then in the first 3 months of Trump, it all came to bear.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. That doesn't make any sense. What is he talking about? What is this juggle? What is this fumble that Joe Biden did? If any, again, we have to give Joe Biden some sort of credit for bringing us out of the fucking pandemic. You got to give him something, right? You can't just be like, well, fuck Joe Biden, didn't do a damn thing. The Inflation Reduction Act, he did all he fucking could to make sure that he gets the economy back up and running. Remember, any benefits to the economy that we are getting now is because of Joe fucking Biden. There's absolutely no way that Donald Trump's able to do the amount that he's doing based off this quote-unquote disastrous economy that Donald Trump said he'd get. He inherited a really, really good economy.
That's not irrational.
It's from the
Cuomo.
tariffs, Bill.
All right, it's your opinion.
It's not an opinion.
All right, but get back
the
to
numbers
Stephen A.
were lower.
And that's definitely on the tariffs. The tariff, I believe the cycle had already started. People said around a certain time where now we actually have people have to fully depend on imports and exports. Now I believe that started.
During Biden's last quarter than they were during this first quarter. But go ahead. Can we get
because
Stephen A in?
the economy isn't day to day. The economy isn't day to day.
Is a connection of dots of day to day that creates trends over time, and the tariffs threw a huge wrench
trends
into
over time.
That spooked cost structures and spooked consumers and spooked investors, and that's why everybody's adjusting their projections for our GDP.
But two things could be true, Chris. Two things could be true.
Yes.
Two things could be true. Two things could be true, Chris. You could be absolutely right with what you're saying, and I don't doubt it. But Bill is right when he says a lot of this is over a period of time. And so, you often see people looking at administrations and they're saying we're going to judge through the prism of history. Why? Because in the immediacy of the moment, you might not be able to deduce what's finite, factually correct and incorrect. Bill, let me get back to you. Here's what I would say to you. We started off the show with you congratulating me on the new deal about SiriusXM, and Chris has brought it up, and me signing with ESPN. Well, you know what? Those things just happened a couple of months ago. The kind of success that I'm enjoying at this particular moment, Bill O'Reilly has been enjoying for decades. For decades, okay? You've been number one for 16 plus years. Number one. Now switch the show. We didn't get into the best-selling author and the number of books you did as a best-selling author and touring the country and giving speeches and getting invited to China, for statesmen there, and they want to hear what you have to say because everybody knows that you're connected to the President of the United States. He wouldn't have been on this show when we did the town hall if it wasn't for you. So we understand that. Bill, are you willing to concede the fact that that is your reality? That, dare I say, data doesn't tell the whole story, that you might be just a touch wrong when you talk about the impact that it's having on American citizens, when you talk about millions of people that might lose health care, when you talk about social programs that are going to be eradicated and eliminated, when you're talking about a lot of
He doesn't care. That's the problem.
these things. It's possible, Bill, that both things could be true, that you're right. There needs to be changes to the system, and they're bloviating about what's really going to happen with Medicaid. That's true, but it doesn't mean that there's no suffering by the desolate and the disenfranchised along the way. People going to suffer,
Look,
Bill.
number one, when
People gonna suffer.
Stephen A., you know this because you're a pundit in sports. You're going to be wrong sometimes. And number two, if you're going to revamp the entire federal government system, there's going to be suffering. But you do the right thing.
See, that's the problem. enough of the fucking revamping. If people are going to suffer because you're revamping, maybe don't do that. Because what you're telling me is like you don't give a shit about certain people. Because you're going to be okay. You will not suffer. You will be fine. It's the small guy that will suffer. It's the single mothers with 2 children that will suffer. It's the single father with 2 children that will suffer. It's the children who need these medicines that will suffer. That's what they don't give a fuck about. People like Bill O'Reilly, Donald Trump, they don't care about that because they know they're going to be okay. The people who are going to suffer, even if it's for a little bit, will not be okay. If you think that revamping something is going to harm a lot of people, even if it's in the short term, and we're talking about the country, we're not talking about a small, maybe 10 people, we're talking about a country. If you think that what you're about to do is going to fuck it up instead of revamping it, why not just make it better? This is why I didn't understand the Doge gutting. Why not just make it better instead of gutting it? Why not just put people in place that you think can do it better? Don't revamp it. Revamping is pretty much a fucking reset, which means people are going to get fucked over.
The right thing. And the Trump administration believes that if the tax cuts passed in 2017 do not continue, there will be massive pain for every American because the country will enter a recession.
That's an opinion.
That's what they believe.
Yeah, that's an opinion.
Right?
Yes, it is.
But is it right? Hold on.
That's what they believe.
He said it's an opinion. But is it right? Hold on. Wait. Is it right for me to ask you your opinion? Because guess what, Bill? You have not been the star in media just because you've been some damn reporter and historian. You've also provided perspectives. You haven't just challenged people based on facts. You've challenged them based on your perspective and what you believe. So I ask you humbly, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about what they believe and how right they are? Do you believe that way?
I feel it.
I believe that consumer spending drives the American economy. Look, when I was in Beijing, I was there 1 week ago tonight, and I had 13 of the hardest men you have ever seen in your life sitting across from me, peppering me with questions about not only President Trump, but America.
My
essential message to the Chinese was this. If you don't cooperate with the United States, you are going to suffer. China's going to suffer. 1.5 million Chinese citizens are going to suffer. So you find a way to cooperate with the United States to avoid the suffering. It's the same thing here. This bill isn't perfect. Musk can tear it to pieces. I can tear it to pieces. Even Cuomo can tear it to pieces, all right? Because it's a massive thing. But the key component is that the 17 tax cuts worked. And the Trump administration wants to continue that.
They work for the top.
So I say it worked for everybody. No. Unemployment was lower than 4%.
Not because of the tax cuts.
Lower than 4%.
Despite the tax cuts.
Under Trump.
Not because of the tax cuts. Tax cuts didn't pay for themselves. And until the pandemic and we dumped all that money into the economy, that's what it was.
I'm going to have to gag you, Cuomo, because you live in a world that you create. Under Trump's first term, working class wages reached record levels.
Not because of the tax cuts.
Oh, come on. Don't
get upset.
But
make
that's
points.
why it was.
Don't get angry. Just make insights.
Hold on. Chris, let me come from my perspective, listening to what Bill just said. In the 2017, you had the tax cuts. In 2020, it was widely believed had it not been for COVID, the economy was thriving and Trump would have gotten reelected, right? We've all talked about that. Evidence of that one could deduce showed up in 2024 when he was reelected as the 47th president, and he got more black voters than he had before, or Republican had before, more young voters, more minority voters, had won every swing state, et cetera, because the belief was that the economy would be in a better state with him. So does that not make Bill's argument a bit more easier to stomach if we take into account how people were feeling about him because of what we saw from the tax cut in 2017 and what his status was in 2020 before COVID, and how the fact that he ended up being reelected in 2024. Does that not make sense? I'm asking. I don't know.
Of course it makes sense. Is there a perception? Of course. Is that why Trump won? No, he won because the Democrats blew it. And if they hadn't had a guy who promised to be a one-term president, who was clearly in decline, as you and I and Bill were talking about.
Once again, maybe I'm the only one who understood it. Maybe I'm just fucking being dense. But when I look it up, I can't find Joe Biden telling me, "Hey, I'm going to be a one-term president." I believe the stipulation was if Donald Trump wasn't running again. That was one. And two, he threw out the idea of being a one-term president. I think people just assumed, based off of just, I guess, language, that he was going to be just a one-term transitional president. And once again, I put this on the Democratic Party. You have the ample opportunity to build your fucking case in 2022, 23 to get ready to run for president. You could have easily challenged him at the fucking convention. I didn't see not one fucking ad or one fucking Democrat that decided they wanted to step up and run against Joe Biden at the convention. Not one person. If there were two, if there were three, or there were four people, it probably would have been a toss-up. Because especially back then, after the debate with Donald Trump, that's the crazy part. But they have already conceded. And the funny thing about this fucking potential cover-up, I don't understand how there could be a fucking cover-up if they knew. It's like that's a whole different fucking.
Long before it was common parlance, and then completely forgot that they're in a democracy and forced a candidate on people that had never been popular. They may have well won that race. But the idea that the 2017, 2015 tax cuts were a clear win is countered by the CBO, who without the pandemic spending says they did not pay for themselves and they heaped onto the deficit because of the lack of revenue. And the graph is right in front of your face. So the idea that that's not what it was is based in fact. Was it part of a narrative about the economy that was doing well under Trump? Yes. And politics is about perception more than reality, and he won. But the idea that extending the tax cuts will make a big difference, I don't accept, but we'll see how this bill plays out. I got to jump. Everybody's yelling at me, and but I'm okay with it because I love this conversation. Bill O'Reilly, thank you. We'll continue.
Wait a minute.
Yes?
Where are you jumping to, Cuomo? There's nobody better than Stephen A. and me.
I agree. I would do the whole show with you guys every night.
Who could you be jumping to?
I know. I got to go. I got McCarthy. I got to.
You do have me agreeing with Bill on this one, Chris. I mean, who's better than us?
I don't care about the Glaze Fest. But no, like this is like, once again, it's like I believe like a lot of people need to do deep diving. I'm hoping this midterms coming up, people actually do their fucking research. I honestly do hope. I feel bad for people who are actually suffering, who decided to not go out and vote, or who decided to protest Kamala Harris's vote because they were upset at what was going on in Gaza, thinking that Donald Trump was going to do any better. He lied to you, like Donald Trump does. He's a fucking liar. He told you he would stop the war in Ukraine. Did not do that. He told you he would stop the war in Gaza. Did not do that. If anything, now he's just stripping people's civil rights away, their First Amendment rights away. He's deporting and locking up people who practice their First Amendment speech. So especially I want to talk to the people who were pro-Palestine and who did protest that vote, because I saw that trend. I saw that TikTok trend. I saw the videos, and there were people who were so angry at the administration that they say, don't vote for Joe Biden. Don't vote for Kamala Harris. Vote for Donald Trump or don't vote at all. That's the fucking crazy part, that you will be able to sit there and manipulate individuals, not tell them anything about the other person, not give them a good reason other than to say, don't vote for him. Good reason to vote for Donald Trump. Somebody's got to run the fucking country at the end of the day. Somebody's got to make the policies. Somebody's got to go talk to people. And you guys decided to be a part of history, be on the side of history that just sat back, kicked their feet up, crossed their legs, and watched the fucking country burn. And now we have nobody to put pressure on Israel. What pressure is Donald Trump putting on Israel other than telling Bill Netanyahu, stop it. Please don't. Please stop. No. Stop it. Stop bombing. What pressure is Donald Trump putting on Putin other than, you know what, you're doing things that I don't like, you son of a gun, why I oughta. He's doing nothing. I mean, this is America. This America sucks, right? And I love America. I'm American, right? One of the greatest places on earth. But like, it's the America people deserve. You people put him in office. You put him in office for the next 3 years. You got him. You got Donald Trump. The best bet to save actual democracy, no matter how many times people want to pretend as if it's the Democrats who fucked up democracy, your best bet is to put Democrats in office. Don't vote independent. I would love for a third party to come up. I would love for people to have more options. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So let's be realistic here. I don't know. I feel like everything that's happening now to the people who just like did that is just like, I'm not as angry as I was initially when I found out that, when I saw that trend. I believe that people who actually wanted change did the best that they could. People that knew where this country was going to go if we put that guy in office did the best that we could. Other people of color showed up and showed out. I don't understand the logic behind protesting that vote or voting third party when you know damn well who the other guy is. But, you know, I hope all is well. You know, I honestly hope. I hope all is well. I hope you're safe. But fuck you. But like, yeah. It's just a crazy, crazy world, man. So yeah, that's pretty much the stream. Was pretty much like I had to stop at one point. I had to stop early because I had to go help family out real quick. Damn, I honestly feel like starting from like the Destiny chat with people on TikTok. Like I honestly do believe like, do we eat our own? Yes, but I think it's time for us as people to start as if you're coming at it, if you're just a political debater. Right? Keep it politics. If you don't think that you're going to be able to sympathize with marginalized groups on when they feel harm, keep it political. Don't go into a space where politics aren't the conversation. When politics isn't the point. When Destiny got up there and had that conversation, they weren't talking about politics. You could tell the question was, name one Republican. Name one time Republicans did this. They don't do this. Republicans don't do this to each other. Only we try to hold each other accountable because of our fucked up morality, thinking that it's a good thing. Half our morality, majority of people's morality is all fucked up. Not the same, not a monolith. A lot more people exist offline than they do online. So that's that. I kind of found that kind of screwed up. And I honestly believe that, we need to separate it. Stay away. If you know the difference between political actors and the social ones, the strictly social one. I will call them social justice or social actors, right? The people who are more likely going to talk about racism and not talk about politics, I kind of keep them on the social. They speak about social issues that hit home. When you want to talk about the political actor, that's completely different. You're talking on a different level, a different realm. Anyways, I say it to say, like, I honestly hope that these midterms we vote correctly. I don't know. I kind of feel like people just need to put their pride aside and actually vote, if not in your best interest, they vote in the best interest of the future, your family, family members, your friends, people that you know, people that you love. Like, think about it. Think about it. You didn't think about it last election. Just think about it the next one. That's all I got to say. Oy. Follow me, you asshats. Like, seriously. Seriously, follow the fucking stream. Don't just watch it. I don't care if it's 2 people watching the stream. Just fucking click the follow button. Engage. Say something. You know, put an emoji, a middle finger emoji. Do something. Like, don't just fucking sit there. Like, bumps in a log. Not engaging. Come on. I'll put my camera on soon. I just gotta fix my camera. But I'll put my camera on soon. So you guys know who you're talking about. You guys know, you know, that it's a black man that's talking and I'm allowed to say the things that I'm saying. Anyways, all right.